In imperial year 1181, the new Adrestian emperor, Edelgard von Hresvelg, led a strategic assault against the monastery at Garreg Mach. Though her own losses were great, her foes had no choice but to surrender. Archbishop Rhea commanded the Knights of Seros, leading from the front lines against the imperial army. After a hard-fought battle, she was forced to retreat to Ferdiad, the capital of Fargus, where she must now plan her next move. With this single attack, the Adrestian Empire officially launched its offensive against the Holy Kingdom of Fargus and the Leicester Alliance. The unification of Fodlan has begun. Part 2. Crimson Flower. Ethereal Moon. Beyond Escape. It is imperial year 1185. Half a decade has passed since Emperor Edelgard ascended the imperial throne, yet the continent of Fodlan still remains lost in a tempest of turmoil and bloodshed. In the Holy Kingdom of Fargus, King Dimitri has welcomed Archbishop Rhea and her knights, who were driven out of Garreg Mach to the kingdom capital. As they work to build a unified front, the war with the Empire rages on to the west. Meanwhile, Claude, leader of the Alliance, staves off imperial intervention by strategically stirring up conflicts between Leicester lords in an effort to feign neutrality. As events unfold, Edelgard and her Black Eagle strike force begin to take action in an attempt to break the war's current state of deadlock.
You. How long do you intend to sleep? Your body is awake. Your eyes must open now, and you must find the strength to stand upon those legs of yours. Like so much rain, a pool of blood has fallen to the ground. As spears and arrows pierce the earth, it weeps. And even now, it weeps. In order to survive, they kill. And so the people of this world are lost in an abyss of suffering. They weep as well. The only one who truly knows the nature of such things is I. Or rather, you. Excuse me? Are you saying you have forgotten who I am? How dare you! Get on your feet. Right now. I'll coddle you no more. You are just like a child, always needing me to hold your hand.
Hey, are you awake? We're in a village at the base of the monastery. What are you doing in a place like this? I honestly didn't expect to find someone floating away down the river.
Garreg Mach is upstream of here, but that place was abandoned.
Huh? You don't know? The Church of Seros isn't there anymore. Though, there have been some folks still living there in the 5 years since... well, you know. Regardless, the Imperial Army has taken over now. Are you feeling alright? You didn't hit your head or anything, did you? It's the ethereal moon of the year 1185. It's been nearly 5 years since the monastery fell. Tomorrow was supposed to be the Millennium Festival, but who's got time to think about things like that? Yeah, that's what I said. But with the war and the Archbishop still missing it all, I doubt there's a soul to be found who has enough blessings worth counting. Hey, slow down, will ya? Where do you think you're going? Are you crazy? The Imperial Army is there. Come on, I promise I won't say you're a coward. Just forget about going anywhere near the monastery. You just remember I tried to stop you. Got it? It's not on my conscience if you wind up dead. Unbelievable.
"5 years ago to the day. If things had continued on as they were, today would have been the Millennium Festival." Halt! Who's there? It can't be. Professor? Is it really you? But I searched everywhere and never found a trace. My teacher. What have you been doing all this time? Where have you been? Joking? At a time like this? You do realize it's been 5 years since you disappeared. Do you have any idea how guilty I felt? How broken my heart was? I searched high and low after you vanished. Although there was no proof, I somehow knew you were alive. All this time, I led everyone as best I could, and fought with all my heart. It's been a difficult path to walk alone. Welcome back, my teacher. I'm so happy that you're safe. 5 years. Such a short time, but it feels like an eternity ago. Do you still feel the way you did all those years ago? You said then that you would fight at my side no matter how many enemies we should amass. As for me, my resolve has not faltered. I'm determined as ever to see this through to the end. I will defeat the false goddess. I will save this world from those creatures and give humanity its freedom back. So, my teacher, are you prepared to stand with me? I thank you, truly. Now then, I assume you understand the situation at hand, yes? Another joke? Or are you telling the truth? I suppose you must be. In that case, I'll tell you all that has transpired as you slumbered these past 5 years. And that is where we are now. The war is at a stalemate. Dimitri is the new king of Fargus. It's clear that his territory will continue to support the church. Meanwhile, Claude's leadership has thrown the Alliance into chaos. He maintains neutrality in their internal conflict. The situation has created a deadlock. We've been awaiting an opportunity for our squadron to return to the monastery. With you in the fray, I believe the state of the war will shift immediately. The church, as well as the kingdom and the Alliance. The time has come to eliminate them all. Although we were of different houses, we were companions who lived and learned together. Some of our ranks are hesitant to battle against them. However, knowing that you're alive is sure to raise their spirits. Good. Well then, I believe it's time for a little reunion. The Black Eagle Strike Force never lost faith. They knew you were alive and have been awaiting your return. Let's not keep them waiting any longer.
Well now, that face is certainly familiar. I am glad to see you alive and well, Professor.
Professor! It's me, Bernie! Do you remember me? I can't believe you're here!
I can't believe it! Is this a dream? Can we really be this lucky?
This is not dreaming. Our professor is with us again. Welcome to the back. I mean, welcome back.
Our group isn't the same without you. I am overjoyed to see you again.
It's been so long. Seeing you again fills my heart with hope.
Great, now everything will be easy. That's great you're safe, Professor. I'm deeply, deeply moved.
Quite the reunion, isn't it, Professor? Everyone's happy to see you.
Come on, Edelgard. You must be happier than all of us combined. She took it really hard when you disappeared, Professor.
Of course, we did our very best in your absence, and there was never a day that we doubted you would return to us.
Edelgard has been leading us as Emperor. But after you disappeared, it became apparent that you were her anchor. It gives me regret to be admitting this, but our power is not enough. The only one who can be meeting Edelgard's expectations is you, Professor.
Most impressive of all is your uncanny ability to bring a smile to everyone's face.
In the years since you vanished, we have not lost anyone from our ranks.
We all longed for your presence and your leadership, myself included.
It seems fitting to view this as a new beginning for the Black Eagle Strike Force. We already have our target.
Yes, we must eliminate the Alliance before moving on to fight the Kingdom and the Church. However, that doesn't necessarily mean we must occupy the entirety of the Alliance. House Rican stands against the Empire. Therefore, our target is Deirdre, the aquatic capital.
We must cross the Aramid River, which separates the Empire and the Alliance. To do that, we must take the largest bridge across it. The Great Bridge of Myrden. Myrden connects the monastery and the imperial capital to the east. It is the shortest route there.
An Alliance stronghold has been built at the Great Bridge. We'll take that and then head north. At the same time, we must defeat the one who defends it, Judith von Daphne. If we can also take control of Daphne territory, it would be greatly beneficial to us. Prepare yourselves. The next battle will be a momentous one. Join me, my friends, as we begin our journey to bring peace and solace to this war-ravaged world.
Take that! Yes, I am in a hurry. Edelgard claims victory after victory. She never stops. 5 years ago, she ascended the throne and swept away the corrupt nobles, my father included. I always thought I would be the one to unseat him. But she did it instead, with all the ease and indifference of someone cracking an egg. Now, as the head of House Eyre, I serve Edelgard. I have to accept that I am her subordinate, working beneath her to reunify Fodlan. The disparity between Edelgard and myself is obvious. She never stops moving forward, single-minded, never wavering. But where does that leave me? Here, flailing about, going nowhere, contributing nothing. But it is. That is the reality. Not once since our days at the Academy have I exceeded Edelgard's abilities. I saw her as a worthy opponent. She did not even see me as a contender. She did not even consider me at all. As the head of the noble House Eyre, I must be able to achieve results. But all my efforts have come to nothing. Results are everything. I have not shown results, so I will be stagnating here forever. I appreciate your kind words, but you are wrong. I know that I have a massive wall to climb, and I must climb it alone. Even so, may I ask a favor? Professor, please keep an eye on my progress. I would appreciate if you were always by my side, bearing witness to my accomplishments.
I may sound terrible, but you won't notice when everyone else sings too.
Must I? Fine. But I will.
Hey, Professor, something's been bothering me. Remember that suspicious guy I chased after back when I was a student? A knight scolded me for it, but at the time I really thought I was doing the right thing. Now that I've had more experience on the battlefield, though.
I've been looking for you. There isn't much time, so I'll keep this brief. The knights encountered a band of brigands while out marching. It was hard fought, but we prevailed. Our soldiers are highly trained, but the enemy was formidable, and we weren't expecting combat. There were a number of casualties among our troops. Much appreciated, but there's a reason I need to bring this to your attention. The brigands all bore identical tattoos of a scorpion on their arms. Please keep an eye out for that mark in the future.
Oh no.
Don't mention it. If you'll excuse me, I need to get back to my duties.
Heck of a coincidence, right? As soon as I mention that suspicious guy, this happens. But some of the knights died in combat. They died because of what I did 5 years ago. This is my fault. If I'd stayed quiet and tracked the guy down like you said, we would have stopped those brigands sooner, and I wouldn't have blood on my hands. But he probably wouldn't have. Now those knights, they're not coming back. We both know it. This is all my fault.
Hello. Edelgard is controlling the Empire. She is putting the pressure on the Kingdom and Alliance. Empire and religion are at open war. It will be difficult for us at first. But corrupt nobles are many. That means the common people will rebel and be joining our side. With you, Professor, the battle tides will turn. I have certainty.
All right, I'm ready to fight. Let's do this. Leave it to me. I can take on the whole, most of the enemy's army. I know my limits now, Professor.
The last 5 years have been difficult at times. My relationship with Edelgard is rather contentious, due to the incident with my father. Nevertheless, I cannot abandon my family's duties. As Duke Eyre, I must play my part in the Imperial army. Edelgard intends to abolish the nobility, but I know I can dissuade her from doing so.
Within the territories of the Alliance, the Gloucester and Daphne houses dominate the West. House Gloucester has always supported the Empire. There's not much chance of them defying us. So all that needs to be done to restore peace in the West now is to crush House Daphne. Pardon me.
Okay. Okay.
Are we leaving for battle? I heard it's a long march. But it's fine. I've had plenty of time to stay inside lately, so I think it's time I run out. Yeah, I can do this. No more Bernie Bear. Yes, but, please don't put me up front, okay?
Right.
No. Since the great nobles lost their standing, the regulation of the merchant houses has relaxed somewhat. You'd probably have thought that would make it easier for us to profit, but the world isn't so simple. The war has made the price of goods unstable, causing no end of hardship for the people.
I need a favor. The north side of the Great Bridge of Murden is in the territory of Acheron of the Alliance. He's known as the Weather Vane. He's a notoriously flippant man. A man like that doesn't have the guts to give it all for the defense of that bridge.
I've been working here for a few years now. There are plenty of others working here too. Since the acolytes and students aren't here, it's up to us to pick up the slack.
Professor! Oh my, it's so good to see you. These days, so many old friends seem to be disappearing. But you're here. It's incredible to see you again after 5 years. I have a feeling your name will go down in history.
Hey there.
Ah, a new face. I am Randolph von Berglies. I'm the guardian of this place. Wait a moment. I'm sure I've seen you somewhere before. Ah, yes. You're Her Majesty's professor. You're alive? Oh, this is my little sister, Fleisch. She's just a rookie, but she's helping me as my assistant.
Hello, I'm Fleisch von Berglies. It's nice to meet you. I know I'm inexperienced, but I'm gonna do my best. You can count on me to look after my big brother.
I've heard you're planning to march into Alliance territory. I'll be here to guard the fort.
Hi. There were
clashes with the Kingdom Army near the Western Front. But this is the first time the Alliance Army has had an honest-to-goodness fight. I hear their leader's pretty competent, but the Alliance Army is pretty tough too.
Professor? Greetings, Professor. Nothing to report. What's that? Do I have brothers in the church? You really are well informed. My older twin works for the Knights of Saros, but I think he's just a grunt, not a noble gatekeeper like yours truly. Unlike me, he's very devout. He left the Empire a long time ago.
A moment, please.
By making an enemy of the church, disorder is running rampant among the populace. It's quieted down over these last 5 years, though. The well-being of Her Majesty is steadily improving.
It's normal for history to be revised in favor of those who hold the power. The documents in this library are no exception. It's perfectly possible for someone to have made edits to them. But it's my belief that no one has the power to blot out the truth entirely. I like to read the same texts over and over again. That way, I can spot some of the truths hidden between the lines.
Professor, do you know how happy I was to hear you were still alive? I'll tell you how happy. For the past 2 days, I haven't had my morning or my afternoon naps. Yes? By the way, with Professor Hanneman not around, I've occupied his room, so I am well equipped to perform research on you. Isn't that exciting?
Professor, I'm sorry to have dragged you into the fight again so soon after our reunion, but you appeared at a most opportune time. I'm truly humbled by your support, my teacher. Thank you. And so I will. I'm hoping your abilities from 5 years prior are still intact. Make sure you're ready to head out, okay?
Allow me to brief you on the details of our situation. The Empire firmly controls the western portion of Fargus. However, the central and eastern regions continue to put up heavy resistance. The strongholds in these regions are Aryan Road, the fortress city, and Ferdiad, the kingdom capital. We cannot control Fargus until we have taken both of these cities. As for the Alliance, Houses Gloucester and Ordelia seem predisposed to capitulate to us. However, due to interference from Houses Regan and Goneril, we have yet to secure their cooperation. Claude obviously hopes to keep the Alliance whole through diplomacy. But because we have had to focus our efforts against the Church until now, our forces have yet to meet his. We have only recently begun to take the fight to Alliance territory. I have a request for you.
Hello there. Return soon, please.
Hey, welcome. You have a good eye. You have a good eye. A pleasure doing beat. Come again.
Right. A moment, please.
Professor!
Okay.
Hello.
What?
A moment.
Well done, Professor. Thank you.
Yes? Oh, it's you, Professor. I was certain it was Hubert coming to drag me back to my duties. Your Majesty, you must know your supreme talents are needed at present. Why not gaze at these documents instead of the sky? Doesn't it? And the worst part is that he's always right, so I can't even argue with him. But that's enough about Hubert for the moment. While I have your attention, I'd like to thank you for your help in that last battle. As you well know, I'm perfectly capable of commanding the army by myself. However, when you're around, it's somehow different. I'm not sure I can properly explain it. I suppose your perspective on the battlefield is simply sharper than mine. When you're devising tactics and tricks for us, it's almost as though you can read the enemy's mind. There's no getting around it. Your talent for strategy far exceeds my own. I'm quite jealous, in all honesty. Is that a fact? Well, if you insist. I suppose a flower from another's field is always more beautiful. I'll admit, I think of you as rather detached, so to hear that you have emotions such as jealousy is something of a relief. I can't deny it. Ever since I underwent those procedures, I've certainly distanced myself from the ordinary world. Friends. That word somehow doesn't seem adequate. Besides, we've been friends for a long time, you and I. By now, we're so much more than that, at least in my mind. You know, instead of Edelgard, you can call me just Elle, if you so please. That's what my parents and closest sisters used to call me when I was little. Now there's no one left who calls me Elle. But with you, well, I think I could allow it. In fact, it would mean a great deal to me. Why? Well, you have stood beside me and shared my burdens. As I said, you are much more than a friend. In truth, you are like family to me. I suppose that's why.
The newly crowned king of the Holy Kingdom of Fargus, Dimitri, has declared fealty to the Church of Seros and is raising an army in preparation for all-out war with the Empire. As leader of the Alliance, Claude maintains a facade of neutrality amidst infighting between those who support and those who oppose the Empire. Meanwhile, the Black Eagle Strike Force plans to capture Alliance territory before Edelgard takes the war to the Kingdom and the Church of Seros. With sights set on capturing Deirdre at the center of House Regan's territory, she leads a march across the Great Bridge of Myrddin to establish a bridgehead.
We're about to commence our attack on the Great Bridge of Myrddin. But first, allow me a moment of your time. It is something that I can only ask of you. Listen well. It concerns Lady Edelgard's uncle, the regent of the Empire, Lord Arundel. Although he is currently cooperating with Her Majesty, he maintains his own sizable military troops. It seems to me that his plans differ from our own. I assume you recall a certain group's scheming from 5 years ago? Solon and Kranya. They both served Lord Arundel. Professor, I understand how you must be feeling, considering what they did to your father. I know it must be foul to even consider cooperating with their kind. However, their power is essential for us at present, Edelgard also strongly opposed the idea at first. Our enemy is the Church of Seros itself. It cannot be toppled with the Empire's might alone. Those working under Lord Arundel are extremely hostile toward the Church. And the enemy of our enemy is... well, I think you sufficiently understand by now. Until all of Fodlan is united, it is a necessary evil. As for how we deal with him afterward, time will tell. Regardless, Her Majesty and I wish to join our power with yours. You should know that in her heart, Her Majesty regards that group as enemies of herself and her family. They used her father, the former Emperor, as a puppet, and murdered her siblings with their vile experimentation. I believe Her Majesty may have told you some of this herself. That is why this was a very painful decision for her to make. I will do all I can to ensure her suffering is not in vain. And I hope I can count on you to do the same. As for all I have told you, please keep it in mind as we march forward. More importantly, I implore you to fight as best you can for Edelgard. From the bottom of my heart, I beg this of you.
We'll be capturing the Great Bridge of Myrden, a key strategic location of the Leicester Alliance. Claude will surely be sending reinforcements, so we must prevail before they arrive.
Our opponent is Judith, the so-called hero of Daphnel. We can handle her, so long as we don't get careless.
The boy said to run if I was in danger, but I could never do that. I'll hold out until reinforcements arrive.
What's my strategy? It won't be in vain. I'll use this power. Ready for anything. This is the cost of war. I'm awake.
More fighting.
For the Empire!
Put me in there.
I'll cut a bloody path.
I do this for all of us. I will prevail.
Keep up!
I'm not going down!
Attack at your own risk. That's a...
Remember the plan.
Watch and learn. Here is something to believe in. This could turn the tides.
Let's keep up the pace. It's not enough.
Bernie's unstoppable.
I hate this feeling.
Only thorns left on this rose.
I will see this war through.
Judith! I'm so glad you're safe. Claude sent me here with reinforcements.
Why do I have to put up with orders from that false leader?
Because you're from the smallest noble house in all the Alliance, you whiner.
Enemy reinforcements. We didn't finish in time. Don't let them secure the ballista.
Big win!
You're all Captain Gerald's enemies, and I will avenge him here. Nice try.
More fighting.
What's my strategy?
For the Empire!
I'm awake. Back to the fray. Ready for anything.
I do this for all of us.
I will prevail.
All is going to plan.
You're making me look bad.
Well done.
I'll cut a bloody path.
You're all Captain Gerald's enemies, and I will avenge him here. I've got another option.
It looks like I'm done for. Claude, I'm sorry.
Judith! No! Alliance soldiers! Judith has fallen. Further conflict is futile. If you surrender, your lives will be spared. Lay down your weapons immediately. You have all fought well. With this victory, we now have a foothold in the Alliance. The Imperial army will cross the Aramid River and push the front lines forward. The fight will continue, but do not allow that to stop you from taking pride in our hard-won victory.
Ah, this should put a stop to one of Edelgard's choice phrases. Well done, Professor. I believe it was, if only the Professor were here, we could forge ahead and change the tides of this war.
Ferdinand, it is not necessary to tell the Professor such things.
We're not the only ones benefiting. The whole Imperial army is stronger now.
Yes, it seems the Empire finally has both of its legs to stand on. Don't you agree?
You make it sound as though I can't run the Empire on my own. Perhaps it's more apt to say that the Pegasus has recovered its horn.
Judith of Daphne. What a magnificent warrior. I'm happy to have the Professor back just like old times, but I don't think I'll ever get used to this cruel exchange of lives.
When there is something you must not be conceding, you must keep fighting. The fighting has been continuing for 5 years. But now I am again witnessing the Professor's power. I hate fighting. But with the Professor here, maybe it's slightly less terrible? Oh, but everyone is working so hard! Stop it, Bernie. You can't be the only one complaining.
I'm glad to see everyone so inspired. It seems the reappearance of the Professor has done much to raise your morale.
Do you not feel the same, Hubert? Come now, be honest with yourself. Now, we must take advantage of the situation and blaze ahead. Our path is still a long one.
Part 2. Crimson Flower. Guardian Moon. The Master Tactician. Having crushed the Alliance's army and captured the Great Bridge of Myrden, the Imperial army prepares to attack Deirdre, the Alliance's base of operations.
Professor, what is your opinion of Claude? I can't help but wonder what sort of impression he made on you. That is inarguable, and his schemes are still going strong. With them, he's managed to keep the Leicester Alliance from the Empire's grasp. Since the beginning, territories within the Alliance have been split between those who support the Empire and those who oppose it. Claude has been acting as an intermediary between the two, essentially keeping the Alliance pacified. As both sides are of equal strength, he's created a situation which they've all agreed to avoid fighting each other and causing undue bloodshed. By carrying on as though the Alliance is united, he's minimized the Empire's influence there.
It's quite impressive how well his bold scheme has worked out. However, he is walking on thin ice. One wrong move and the Alliance will shatter. Speaking of Claude, Your Majesty, we should not delay in our invasion of the Alliance. It would seem that Claude has some fresh scheme up his sleeve, to no one's surprise.
Is that so?
Yes. The people of Deirdre have suddenly found it difficult to leave or enter the city. We can safely assume he is preparing for battle, but I am certain his plans extend beyond that as well. Do you not think we should take Deirdre at once?
Deirdre, the aquatic capital. A city floating on the ocean certainly poses a challenge. Since it's deep within Regan territory, we haven't had the opportunity to attack it directly. However, now that we have control of the Great Bridge of Myrden, our situation has changed drastically. They can no longer expand their supply line into the Empire, and so we can finally attack Regan territory.
House Regan is not only Claude's house, but also the flagship of those who oppose the Empire within the Alliance. If House Regan falls, the other Alliance lords will be tripping over themselves to join us. That is why we cannot fail to take Deirdre. Confidence is one thing, Professor, but see to it that you do not underestimate Claude. The leader of the Alliance has had many things said about him. They say he is unbeatable in a battle of intellect. I hear they call him the Master Tactician.